Well, we got a very special podcast today. New episode of Sports Hype coming your way right now. We got a lot of different things happening in the NFL, especially since of free agency. We got a wild March Madness happening already with ACC tournament, with all these tournaments in college basketball. We got all NBA ramping up, but most importantly, I think this has been the craziest, one of the craziest off seasons of my existence for the NFL. And here we go. Starting right now, we got Niners staying house named Nick Sorensen as DC. Was this the right move? Lions give head coach Dan Campbell and GM Brad Holmes contract extensions. This was the best move in my opinion. Max Jones traded to the Jags for a sixth-round pick. I cannot believe a first-rounder just went away just like that with a sixth-round pick. Jerry Jeudy just went to the Browns for a fifth and sixth-round pick. What does this mean for the Broncos? But most importantly, what does this mean for the Browns? We got Arik Armstead released. Was this the right move for the Niners? Oh my goodness. And here we go. We got Russell Wilson and Patrick Queen to the Steelers. We just got better. We just made the right moves to go ahead and be in Super Bowl contention. We got to see what the other two think about that. Unfortunately, we had to release, trade Deontay Johnson to the Panthers, but we got a safety or a cornerback, right, rightfully so, stacking up that defense like it was, the Miami Dolphins defense last year. They released a lot of players. T. Higgins requested a trade. What's the best landing spot for him? Tony Pollard signs a 3-year deal worth up to $24 million with the Titans. What does this mean for the, terrible Cowboys right now in the offseason? DeAndre Swift signs a 3-year, $24 million deal with the Bears. What does this mean for the Eagles? Most importantly, what does this mean for the Bears? Tyler Biadasz and Dorrance Armstrong, Austin Eckler and Bobby Wagner signed with the Commanders. Christian Wilkins to the Raiders on a 4-year, $110 million deal. Gabe Davis signs a 3-year, $39 million deal with the Jags. Chances to get $50 million with incentives. Congratulations to him. Josh Jacobs goes to the Packers on a 4-year, $48 million deal. Are they title contenders right now? They were so close last year. How great does Josh Jacobs make them this year? Kirk Cousins to the Falcons. Oh, was there tampering, though? We don't know if there was any tampering with Kirk Cousins going down to the Falcons. He got a 4-year, well-deserved $180 million deal for Mr. Consistency. Saquon goes to the Eagles. Probably one of the worst moves ever. I think, Tiki Barber said it himself. You are dead to the New York Giants and to the whole organization. Xavier McKinney signs a 4-year deal, $68 million deal with the Packers. Aaron Jones signs a 1-year, $8 million deal with the Vikings. Raiders sign Gardner Minshew to a 2-year, $25 million deal. Congratulations to Mr. Mustache Castache. Jordan Brooks to the Dolphins on a 3-year, $30 million deal. Bengals trade Joe Mixon to Houston and sign Zach Moss to a 2-year, $8 million deal. What's going on with the Bengals? Are they still up for, the Super Bowl contention? Vikings sign Sam Darnold to a 1-year, $10 million deal. What does this mean with their QB situation? Where's Justin Jefferson going? I hear there's talks to the Bengals, but we'll get into that later. Derrick Henry signs a 2-year, $16 million deal with the Ravens. How the great teams just get better. It's going to be hard in that NFC or AFC North. Daniel Hunter to the Texans on a 2-year, $49 million deal. Titans signed Calvin Ridley to a 4-year, $92 million deal, even though he wanted to stay in Jacksonville. And I believe that does it for right now for the NFL until we hear otherwise.
Yes, sir. As you can see, it's been a very, very busy first few days of free agency for a lot of teams. Before we get into free agency, though, obviously, let's get your guys' thoughts on the Niners defensive coordinator hiring. Obviously, I know that you guys wanted Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, or Rex Ryan. Unfortunately, they decided to stay in-house and name Nick Sorensen. I'm not very familiar with him. I think it was the wrong move, though. I think they could have got a better coordinator for the position. But what are your guys' thoughts on that?
So, really, was this the right move? I mean, in a sense, it is because they do stay in-house. They understand what's going on. He's been around for a little bit now with this team. If they added Mike Vrabel, he would change the defense completely. Same with Bill Belichick. Same with any other coach from the outside. So this was a good move potentially, But then again, they did lose the potential to have one of the best defenses in the league with an amazing defensive coordinator like Mike Vrabel or Bill
Yeah,
Belichick. So
yeah.
it is
I
a risky
mean,
move.
it is very risky because I think he was the linebackers coach prior to this. So
Right.
like it's two different positions, but
Mhm.
if it works out, they'll seem like masterminds. If it doesn't, then they'll probably wish they went in a different direction. But as you said, it's good because he does know the system. But I feel like they could have gotten someone out there who is better, like a Mike Vrabel, who still is jobless for some reason.
100%.
But yeah, as you touched on in the intro, the Lions giving head coach Dan Campbell and GM Brad Holmes their rightfully contract extensions. I think obviously the right move. Dan Campbell turned the Lions around by himself with his coaching. He came in and set a culture that the players bought into, and then obviously the GM has been doing fantastic things ever since he got there.
100%. He brings in that trade, right? Rightfully so, with Stafford and Goff. You draft exceptionally well, defensively and offensively. Martaine Brown is one of the biggest deals in my opinion right now. You add great depth. You add Montgomery, I do believe, at the running back position, which was a great move as well. So yeah, then you move to Dan Campbell, who has orchestrated that team to perfection, right? There was a lot of gaps. There was such a young team. For them to have such great success early on, like they have so far in these past 2 years, and to switch a whole entire franchise around that hasn't seen winning for the past 2 decades, right? At least the 2 decades, right? So for those two guys, rightfully so, they get their contract extensions, well deserved, and I can't wait to see what they do in the future.
Agreed. Mac Jones. This was surprising for me personally because obviously the Jaguars already have their starting quarterback.
Mhm.
I'm assuming they were doing it for backup purposes in case Trevor Lawrence
Mhm.
gets hurt. They traded for Mac Jones for a 6th-round pick. What's your thought on that move?
Yeah, this is an interesting move. One, I feel bad for Mac because I don't think we got to see his full potential, right, with the Patriots or him as a quarterback. But this is a great move for Jacksonville because they are such a great contending team, right? You saw what they did last year. They were on a hot streak until Trevor Lawrence went down. You bring in Mac Jones, who I think can win you 1 to 2 games with that squad. It is such a talented squad. I think that Mac Jones can at least win you 1 to 2 games. Wait until Trevor Lawrence gets back into the game, and yeah, then you're going to still be rolling, and that's exactly what you need him to do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I personally think Mac Jones is best as a backup, and
Mhm.
I think this is the perfect role for him because he's not a
Right,
starting quarterback yet, but he can get there if he's developed properly.
100%. And look what Jacksonville did with obviously Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent, but you look at his first season and his and how little success he had, right? Then he builds upon and they developed him into one of the best quarterbacks in the league, right? Even though he had this generational talent, I think they can do the exact same thing with Mac Jones, hopefully in the offseason, then be prepared for the backup role going into the season.
Yeah, I agree. So your rivals did make a big splash. We're the first one to make a splash in free agency, trading for Jerry Jeudy for a 5th and 6th-round pick. What's your thought on that move for the Browns and Broncos?
Broncos, you look at them, they're rebuilding 100%, as you can see. For the Browns, this is scary, right? Not only did they add Jerry Jeudy, they added Jameis Winston as the backup quarterback who loves to sling that ball, right? This is going to be a scary squad. We saw what the defense brought to you last year. We saw what, you know, without help, Amari Cooper, Nick Chubb's going to be healthy, right? You got Jerry Jeudy, who's an upcoming star in the league, in my opinion. I just don't think he was in the right spot for him to be successful. Now he's with the Browns with a great squad, with a great coach, with a possible, I would say, good to great quarterback. If Deshaun, has a better season than last year, and if not, you got Jameis Winston slinging you that ball, and he's going to give you touches. So this team is very scary.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Broncos, obviously they are rebuilding, as you said. I think they could have got more for Jerry Jeudy, though. I think that was a bad trade for them. At least try to get a receiver back, I'll
Right.
say,
Mhm.
or at least a 3rd-round pick, 2nd or 3rd round pick, not just a 5th and 6th. But obviously rebuilding, they're in
Mhm.
rebuild mode, so we'll see what happens. But
Right.
for Jeudy, for me personally, he has to stay healthy first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
But if he does stay healthy, this is a great fit because he won't be the wide receiver 1 anymore. He'll be wide receiver 2. Obviously, Amari Cooper's wide receiver 1.
Yep.
All the attention will go to Cooper, and that will just open things up tremendously for Jerry Jeudy, and I think he'll be able to thrive in the system.
100%. And yes, I do. We do realize how terrible that offensive line is for the Broncos. We understand how dysfunctional that team was, but you had Sutton as the number 1 receiver, where Jeudy was the number 2 already. So how much more success are we going to see with Jeudy being the number 2 on the Browns than we did with the Broncos?
I think it will be a lot more personally. One, because a better O-line, and recently Deshaun Watson has been better than Russell Wilson, so I feel like that'll play a part into it as well.
Yeah. Okay.
But Eric Armstead was released by the 49ers. He did sign with the Jaguars today. Do you think that was the right move by the 49ers, or do you think they should have kept him?
I mean, I think this was – I mean, it's a tough call. Then again, it is such a risky thing, especially since how close the 49ers were last year, right? They were so close to winning it all once again. Really, would you want to see that squad running back? I would love to. When you make this type of move with this impactful player like he is, I do believe you're going to see either a hole or you're going to see someone fill that role that Armstead had. And I do believe that we're going to see the 49ers have a little bit of hiccups because I think he was such an impactful player. But then again, I think for the Jaguars, this is the best move they could have made, right? They're stacking up their team, and I do believe that their squad is gonna get better because of him.
Yeah, the Jaguars are definitely looking a little scary. Obviously, they got to fill in their wide receiver hole now that Calvin Ridley left, but we'll see what they do there. But they're taking steps in the right direction. They'll continue to take steps in the right direction. For the Niners, though, I was very surprised they released Eric Armstead. He was a big part of that defense.
Right.
I wasn't sure if it was a cap casualty or not. I don't think it was. I think he was just hurt too much and they decided to let him go, similar to the Tyron Smith situation with the Cowboys. But I think it was the wrong move personally, because I think when healthy, he is such a force that they will miss him when they start the season, and they will wish they didn't release him.
Yeah, I 100% agree. But here's the thought process. You see that Joey Bosa can possibly go to the 49ers to play with his brother Nick Bosa. Was this a move to try to entice him and try to free up a spot for Nick to come over to the 49ers? Or not Nick, but
Joey Bosa, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, but then you see a report like today where Joey Bosa restructures his contract and decides to stay with the Chargers. So I feel like he wants to stay in LA.
Okay. I mean, I could see that happening, but do you think that since they moved him first, they had an agreement with Joey to possibly come over there, and then obviously it didn't work out?
I don't think they would have done that unless they knew for sure that Joey Bosa was coming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously that 49ers defense is absolutely insane as is. It's just, I feel like Eric Armstead was a vocal leader in that locker room, and it's a big loss to lose him, I feel like.
100%.
But I know you're happy because your Steelers making some moves over there. Russell Wilson and first, and then obviously Patrick Queen. So let's hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, my goodness. We just got a competent quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. Russell Wilson went to the Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl champ. One. He's an MVP-type talent with the right situation. One, you had a defense that couldn't defend in Seattle, right? So you always had to put pressure on Russell Wilson to win you games. Two, he moves to the Broncos, right? Because I think it was him and Pete Carroll didn't get along, right? Goes to the Broncos, doesn't play well because he doesn't have a great offensive line. Yeah, he had a lot of sacks, a lot of fumbles, a lot of interceptions, whatever the case may be, but he wasn't in the right situation. You go to the Steelers, yeah, our offensive line isn't good, but it's better than what it was, and it's better than the Broncos, and it's better than Seattle, right? So you go to the Steelers wide receiver option, right? You have George Pickens. This kid can be a top 5 receiver in the league if he has a competent quarterback. You saw that last year. Whenever he got the ball, he was an explosive player. You add on to Patrick Queen at the linebacker position, which we need to fill. That was our spot. And then I forget his name, but we get a competent cornerback too from Carolina in that Deontay Johnson trade. We're making money moves right here in Pittsburgh, and I can't wait to see how our team reacts to this. But man, we got a squad on offense. We got George Pickens. We have Pat Freiermuth. We have Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, and then we also add Russell Wilson to that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you guys are looking a lot better than you were last year, I will say. I could see them going 11-6. It's just I feel like they have to fill some more hole. Obviously, they traded Deontay Johnson. They need a wide receiver too now. Can't just be George Pickens. So we'll see what they do there. But your O-line is mediocre at best. They got to fix that as well. But if they do those two things, that defense is going to do outstanding things. I was never worried about that defense. And then you add Patrick Queen to it, like you said, it just makes it that much better. So that defense is going to get stops, and now they actually have a quarterback that can get them down the field and score touchdowns first and foremost, which Kenny Pickett could not do. And I feel like this will also help Kenny Pickett learning behind Russell Wilson. So once Russell Wilson decides to finally hang it up, Kenny Pickett will be more confident to come back in and get the job done. But for the time being, Russell Wilson will make the Steelers better, and I think they are suited to make a deep playoff run if they do fill those offensive line holes as well as the wide receiver holes.
100%. But let's just say the gaps we had on defense, we did not have a secondary. We just signed Deshaun Elliott, and we just signed, like you said, or traded for Patrick Queen. Our secondary is getting that much better to where we're getting an elite secondary, because look how great that it's pretty much the Ravens secondary. Let's be honest. Last year, the Ravens secondary was tremendous. They were phenomenal. This year, going to the Steelers. Our defensive line, arguably the best defensive line in the league. Add that secondary to it, unstoppable defense. Offensively, yes, I agree with you. But knock on wood, the Steelers always draft a superstar at the receiver position late into the draft, where we're going to see another George Pickens, hopefully, or Deontay Johnson, or possibly a Claypool or an Antonio Brown, right? Hopefully we see that in the draft this year. We get our number 2, just like you stated. And then obviously more experience. Our offensive line is just young. We're going to get better over time. So let's see what happens this year. Yes, I agree with you. 11-6 is a good compromise and a good, record. But I do believe we can win out this AFC North just because of the downfall of the Bengals possibly, right? If they don't get Justin. And then you also, I think that the Ravens, yeah, they got better, but I think that our run defense is better, right? And you look at Cleveland, and I still think we can beat Cleveland.
I think personally that AFC North is going to be the toughest division in the NFL this year, outside of the Bengals, because obviously they haven't done anything. But the Browns made money moves, the Steelers made money moves, and obviously the Ravens made a money move in getting Derrick Henry with Lamar Jackson.
100%. And then if the Bengals get Justin Jefferson, that whole division is stacked.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. So before we move on to that, though, we'll go to Deontay Johnson getting traded to the Panthers. What was your thoughts on that as a Steelers fan?
I was upset at first. When you told me that, I was like, man, why would we trade him for pretty much nothing? But then when I saw we got that cornerback with us, I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah, I thought it was only going to be for a 6th-round pick, but the corner makes it a little better. But I feel like still, I wouldn't have traded Deontay Johnson, to be honest, just because I would have liked to see what he could have done with Russell Wilson at quarterback.
I would have loved to see that, but at the same time, I think there was dysfunction within the locker room with him. I know he was such a great teammate to everyone, I do believe, right? But Deontay, I just don't think it was working out. Especially, he only had 1 touchdown last year. He only had 1 touchdown since whatever the date was. It was like January 2022 or something like that. It was a full year before he got 1 touchdown. So I think he's gonna play better in Carolina. He's going to get more touches. He's going to do exactly what he wants to do. He's going to be the number one guy. And with George Pickens playing the way he did last year, obviously Deontay was going to take a step back, be the number two guy, and I don't think he wanted to do that.
Yeah, I think the Steelers did this solely because they saw how upset George Pickens was without getting targets, and they want to get him more targets, and they want to make him the receiver one to make him happy.
Well, that too, but it's also out of respect for Deontay. He's such a great player. Why would you have dysfunction within the locker room when you could easily have him be the number one someplace where he can be the number one?
True. Very true. Let's just hope Bryce Young can get him the ball and have time to get him the ball. That's the problem over there.
You still got DJ Moore?
No, he's on the Bears.
Oh no, he's on the Bears. So who do you have there? Is it just Deontay?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. We got. So do you know who's on Carolina?
Receiver wise?
Nah.
Just Deontay, right?
Like literally, it's just Deontay that now that he traded for him, and that I could think of, because like last year they had absolutely nobody.
And they about to get oh no, they don't have a first round pick.
No, they got that to the Bears.
Yeah, I don't know. They just gotta get weapons though, you know.
They do.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Deontay Johnson is a good start for them, I feel like. But first and foremost, they gotta shore up that offensive line, because Bryce Young has no time to throw back there.
I agree.
But moving on to the Bengals that Gio touched on. Obviously, T. Higgins did request a trade. What are your guys' thoughts for what's going on over there, as he hasn't been offered a contract since March of last year, which I think is crazy. The Bengals are doing him dirty, in my opinion. But what's the best landing spots for him, in your guys' opinion?
Sorry, one more time.
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, yeah. What's the best landing spots for him?
Chargers. I don't know.
Gio?
So he's obviously probably wants to go to a contender.
Yeah.
What are they going to have to give up, in your opinion, for them to get him?
I'm going to say a first or 2 seconds.
2 seconds for T. Higgins?
Yeah.
I would say let's run the table. Let's go to the Packers. Okay. They do have such a great young squad. T. Higgins would give you that one extra dimension on offense that you can possibly win a championship with. You obviously just signed Josh Jacobs. I think that was a great sign for them, adding to that depth on offense. Obviously, Dillon had to leave because of it, or no, Jones had to leave because of it. So that was unfortunate for them, but they signed Josh Jacobs. Higgins would be great. Then you said it, Nick. I mean, the Chargers are the best option in my opinion, but you already have such a great, offensive weapons, but it's the durability, it's the health, right? How healthy can those offensive weapons stay for Herbert to pass to them? And I do believe that would be a great option for him, because he could be possibly the number one or possibly the number two, depending on how everyone else plays and is healthy.
The problem with the Chargers, though, is they are insanely over the cap already. And T. Higgins wants a bag.
He does. But why not show everybody that he wants the bag by playing well this year, and then obviously making some adjustments to the cap the next season? And then obviously, the Chargers will either be in contention this year, or they're going to be in some trouble. And obviously, a lot of people are going to leave them after that.
Yeah. I mean, Chargers realistically could be a very good option. Obviously, they let go of Mike Williams.
Mm-hmm.
They do need a receiver too. Keenan Allen can't do it by himself.
Right.
So that'd be a realistic option. And yeah, Packers could as well. I mean, there's so many teams who need receivers, but as you said, he wants to go to a contender. Not many contenders need receivers at this point in time. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes.
What about the Jets? What's wrong with the Jets?
I mean, it's not terrible.
I mean,
They
you
just
really
don't have a good quarterback.
okay. You really think Garrett Wilson can do it by himself, pretty much?
I mean, he showed it last year with Zach Wilson. I think he can, but it would be helpful to get him another weapon.
Right, and I think those two young guys on the squad with, possibly a hungry Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that team's going to be crazy. That defense, we already know what they can do. You add T. Higgins to that offense, adds another depth, just like with the Packers. T. Higgins can be that player that puts you over the hump and puts you into title contention with the Packers and with the Jets.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. Definitely going to be interesting to see where he goes and what happens after that regarding the Bengals.
Right.
But so Tony Pollard did sign a 3-year deal worth $24 million with the Titans. What are your guys' thoughts on that deal?
Those are. Gio, what you think?
I'm upset. I am very upset. Congratulations to Tony Pollard. Congrats. You should be a Cowboy. 100%. You should be a Cowboy. For you guys not to sign a Derrick Henry, a Josh Jacobs, a Saquon Barkley, one of the elite running backs, you should have kept Tony Pollard because he got the job done. He did exactly what you guys needed to do. He was a workhorse. In my opinion, Jerry Jones just didn't want to pay him.
I honestly don't mind letting him go because he did not perform to my expectations, and I don't think he's ready to be a running back one, and I think we'll see that in Tennessee. And the reason we didn't sign an elite running back is because we obviously Jerry Jones could do his job and extend Dak and restructure some contracts, but even if we extend Dak, we still got to extend CD, still got to extend Micah. We just have a heck of extensions to do, and we just have no cap to sign external free agents, and that's why I think we had to let go of Pollard one, and why we haven't made any other big splashes too.
So let me get this straight. You guys let go of your players because you want to re-sign players that didn't get it done for you in the past?
Pollard didn't get it done for us either, in my opinion.
I'm just saying, why not sign him when you're thinking, oh, let's make extensions for the future if these guys can't even get it done in the past to the present?
I mean, I don't know. That's a question for Jerry Jones. No one knows his logic.
That's all I'm trying to say is because if these guys, yes, I understand Dak, great quarterback, Parsons, every one of these guys that deserve an extension, right? But do they really deserve the bag that they're going to get thrown to them if they can't win a Super Bowl?
Micah and CD do, yes. Dak, that's questionable still.
That is very questionable for Dak. I mean, the way Kirk Cousins just got paid for being the most consistent mediocre quarterback.
That's the problem, is that the quarterback market keeps skyrocketing, so we're just going to have to continue to pay Dak more and more the longer we wait.
But you do this, right? And I don't think you guys are going to win a Super Bowl this year. I'm sorry. I really don't think with the talent you have and the talent other teams just received, I don't think you guys have, you might have a chance, but it's not as good as last year.
No, last year was our best chance to make Super Bowl, and obviously we know what happened. This year, we'll be lucky if we win 12 games again. I think we're going to struggle to win 10 to 11 games with the talent we have on the roster so far. Obviously, the offseason is over, but as of right now, it's looking like it's going to be a tough stretch for the Cowboys this season.
Right, and you look at exactly what people are doing right now. They're throwing money around like it's nothing. You got the Packers. You got Houston, who possibly has the best offseason so far, right? With adding the players that they added, defensively and offensively. It's crazy.
This is the problem with Jerry Jones, is that he is too old, too cheap, and too stubborn to change. He thinks that this 90s stuff still works, and it doesn't in today's NFL.
Yeah, but he's willing to pay people like in today's terms, which doesn't make any sense to me because back in the day, you won and then you got paid. So in that mindset, I don't understand why he changes on that aspect of it.
I don't know what he's going to do with his money when he dies, but he might as well start throwing it at some players.
But we can go about the Cowboys all day. Like you said, we don't know exactly the logic that Jerry Jones has. And if you want to keep
Well,
going to 10,
according to Stephen Jones, their definition of all in is extending the guys that we have.
right. And
So why even say that in the first place? Because you know what you're doing when saying that. You just did it so the press kept talking about you, even though you got kicked out of the playoffs.
The press and for the fan base, because the fan base was going to attack him, and they were going to lose faith in him and the team. With him saying that he was all in, kept the fan base faith. Just like to me with the Dolphins, I cannot believe the moves they've made this offseason so far.
Yeah, it hasn't been a very good offseason, but it's not over. We still got time. We'll see what happens. Personally, though, I think Pollard's deal is okay. He didn't show enough to get paid that much, in my opinion. And as I said, I don't think he's a running back one in today's NFL, and he's going to be running behind a worse O-line than he did with Dallas, and he barely got 1,000 yards in Dallas. I don't think he's going to succeed at Tennessee. I hope I'm wrong because I would like to see him succeed, but I think he's better suited as a running back two in the NFL.
I agree. It's just like a Jalen Warren. Can he be a running back one? I'm not sure, but he is a powerful punch at the running back two. So
right. I also think that's why Dallas did let him go, because they're trying to maybe get another Zeke Pollard duo that they had before they let Zeke go.
Right.
So the running backs are in the draft, or there's some they could sign. We'll see what happens.
Can we I know you want to move through the free agency, but can we go to the Dolphins real quick?
Yeah,
I want to hear from the Dolphins fan, because defensively, you guys had one of the best defenses in the league last year. It just seems like you're letting it fall apart at this point.
No.
Can you please elaborate?
We still have a great D-line.
But without Christian Wilkins, do you really have a great D-line?
Yeah, we still got Bradley Chubb.
When is he returning?
Yeah, coming off a torn ACL.
Yeah, when is he returning, though?
I'm not finished.
Okay. I'm sorry. Please elaborate more.
Zach Sealy, he didn't get enough credit because of Christian Wilkins. Jalen Phillips will be coming back. Still part of a great D-line. We brought in good linebacker help. We lost our guys, a lot of them.
Yeah.
But I think Miami did an all right job bringing in some linebacker talent to help fill in the holes. We just brought in Kendall Fuller today. I don't know if y'all saw that news.
Yep.
He's a decent corner.
He ain't no Xavier, bro.
Yeah, I know. Xavier's one of the best to ever do it. But Jordan Poyer, just like cheap options.
Cheap, right? You really think?
Well, I mean, they have no choice but to do cheap, though, because they're in the same situation as the Cowboys with no cap.
Yeah, 100%, and I can understand that. It's just like, it's disappointing, right? Because I love that defense you guys had last year. I really wanted to see you guys win a Super Bowl with that defense, with that offense. That was the perfect team. If you guys didn't play in the cold, you guys would have won a Super Bowl.
Next year we'll play in the cold.
It's going to be a lot tougher, though. You guys could have won one with ease last year, in my opinion.
The AFC got so much deeper in the first 3 days of free agency.
Not deep enough.
Okay.
What do you mean? You got the Texans.
Say a curse.
The Texans are a top 3 team in the AFC right now.
Miami's number 1, though.
You have Kansas City is the defending champions with Patrick Mahomes. They're the number 1 team. Number two, you have to put the Ravens. I don't care what people say. You add Derrick Henry. How are you stopping that run game? It's gonna be.
How are you stopping the read option? What are you doing as a linebacker?
Right. Now you add that. Ravens are number 2. Number 3 has to be the Texans. With the success they had last year, it's not a once in a lifetime opportunity last year. It wasn't a Cinderella story. They're coming back for vengeance, right? You have the Browns. You have the Steelers. And I'm not even forgetting the number one rushing quarterback in the league in Josh Allen and the Bills, who, yes, their defense is mediocre, their offense is mediocre, but they still can wipe out anybody on any given day, depending on how they play.
Their defense got a lot worse. I don't think that.
Yeah, their defense got insanely worse.
Their defense did get worse. I'm not lying, but I still think that they can beat anybody on any given day.
I don't even think they'll make it past the first round this year, to be honest, with the way they haven't even filled their holes.
And then you have the Jets, the questionable Jets.
The Jets, I'm not talking about the Jets until I see what happens with Aaron Rodgers.
I'm just saying questionable. They are the biggest question mark in the NFL right now, and it is scary.
Yeah, the AFC has definitely gotten deeper. It's going to be tough for the Dolphins. But what are your thoughts of the Jordan Brooks signing, Saya? That 3 years, $30 million.
Too much money. One.
Think so? Why you say that?
I don't think his production's been enough to get that type of money, especially with our current cap situation.
Okay.
But he'll come in, he'll be a nice little piece. And he'll get a ring this year.
Yeah, we'll see.
He's gonna be tackling Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. Any thoughts, Gio?
I mean, I'm ready to go to Mr. Swifty over there in Chicago.
All right, yeah, we'll go back to running backs. DeAndre Swift got the exact same contract as Tony Pollard, 3 years, $24 million with Chicago. So obviously we know what it means for the Eagles. They got Saquon. What does this mean for the Bears is the real question.
Right.
So what are your guys' thoughts on that deal for the Bears?
I mean, it's a good running back, right? He's a solid running back. They're building for the future. They're getting Caleb Williams, possibly, right? Or most definitely. They're going to trade Fields.
Well, I don't think they should. It's starting to look like they might not, to be honest, because the Falcons and Steelers were the two options in my eyes.
Right.
Both got quarterbacks now. So where are you going if you're Justin Fields and the
Broncos?
Bears?
The Broncos.
I think the Broncos are in rebuild mode. I don't think they want a Justin Fields. And I don't think Justin Fields would want to go there, given that they're in rebuild mode.
No, he wouldn't, but he would have no choice. I do believe the Broncos are the best option right now for Justin Fields with Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton can get the best out of Justin Fields. If you ask me what they should do, keep him and draft Marvin Harrison.
I agree with that. They need to keep him because I think Caleb Williams is not going to be as good as advertised. And Marvin Harrison, get him a weapon with DJ Moore. They'll unlock more keys to his bag. But I also think Sean Payton was the issue in Denver and not Russell Wilson.
I agree with that one too. But if you look at it, how big of a steal would the second pick be? If I don't personally believe that Caleb Williams is that guy. He's not a franchise player in my opinion. The way I saw it was that he will look out for his own benefit rather than the team's sake. And how do I know that he's going to be that guy for me when it matters most? When you look at that, though, if he does produce like he's supposed to, if he's like that Patrick Mahomes, if he's like that, CJ Stroud type of player, that second pick is going to be a steal. So it's tough.
I just think they gotta keep Justin Fields. They have to, in my opinion. But I don't think they will, personally.
They should trade down to get Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think honestly, you keep the number one pick and you just draft Marvin Harrison Jr. to ensure you get him, and then let the other quarterbacks go as follows.
That's some big time bread though for Marvin.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to get big time bread either way, though.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, could you get the second pick for this, right? So if you trade down for the second pick,
I don't think they need to trade down to the second pick, bro. I think they need to trade down to 4 because the first 3 are being quarterbacks, in my opinion. You
don't think Marvin Harrison is going to be the second pick?
No, he's going. If the Bears trade the pick,
Right.
or keep the pick, and
Right.
if they keep the pick, it's going Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May,
Right.
then Marvin.
So why not trade down to 4?
I don't think
Because
Arizona's good.
yeah, that, and I also just don't think that the Bears believe in Fields like we do.
I mean, 2 Ohio State alums, Justin Fields. I do believe Marvin Harrison played with him. He played with him. They were close. They were close to a national championship.
Honestly, I would just keep the number 1 pick and draft Marvin Harrison and shock the world,
I'd love it.
because there's no shooters for Justin Fields anymore, in my opinion.
I agree. And the longer you wait, like you said, the longer you wait, it's just going to get worse. Same situation with Dak, same situation with Justin Fields. The capital is going to just drop, right, for Justin,
Right.
but the capital for Dak is going to increase. It just means that when you trade for Justin, you're not going to get exactly what you want.
Right, exactly.
I see those gears turning. Mr. GM over there. Trade him to Miami. Trade him to Miami. We'd love him in Miami as a backup to Tua.
We don't want him as a backup to Tua. I think he's too good to be a backup. And Tua is going to be healthy all year again, holding that trophy.
We'll see. But obviously the NFC East is, well, 3 teams in the NFC East are making moves. First off, the Commanders are making heck of moves, and they're making good moves with their new regime over there. Tyler Biadasz, Dorrance Armstrong, Austin Eckler, and Bobby Wagner all signed with them. So what's your guys' thoughts on the new look Commanders?
They still going to be bad.
I mean, yeah, the reason they'll be bad, though, is because of their offense, not because of their defense anymore.
Terry's gone.
No, but he has no quarterback unless they draft one, which they will.
Which they will. And if you draft like a Bo Nix, if you draft like a Penix, I wouldn't say Penix Jr., but like a Bo Nix, I would say.
The problem is, at second, they're going to take Jaden Daniels. I guarantee it.
Not if. Hear me out. If Marvin Harrison goes first, Caleb Williams becomes a Commander. That team's looking pretty good right now. It's looking a lot better than the Giants, I can tell you that.
Yeah, but the problem is no O-line.
Yeah, but I mean,
But
it is what it
it
is.
is a good start for the Commanders, I would say. I
Right.
do still think they'll be third, probably third, because the Giants are going to be fourth with what they're doing
Right.
over there.
Right.
But they'll be third in the division, I think. But if I'm a Commanders fan, I have hope again, because I know that the new regime is going all in and trying to get talent.
Yep, I would agree.
What do you think, Saya?
Yeah.
Big Ron's still over there, right?
Ron Rivera? No.
Who's there?
Who is their coach? I forget. I know. They
They
fired Ron.
Oh,
I
they
know
did
that for a
fire
fact.
Ron last year.
Yeah. I just don't know who their coach is. I know DQ's over there as a DC.
Yep. Oh no, isn't Dan Quinn's the head coach?
Oh yeah, he is the head coach.
Dan
You're
Quinn
right.
is the head coach. Wow,
Yeah.
This is gonna be a crazy team. Crazy year for the Commanders right now, because if they get a good quarterback, hear me out, this can be exactly like the Texans last year, where they can shock the world if they perform well. They don't have to go to do exactly what the Texans did, but as long as they play well this year, as long as they make it a competition in the NFC East, I think they're going to do their job.
I think Dan Quinn is not as good of a coach as DeMeco Ryans, so I don't think he'll be able to have that type of success with a rookie quarterback, personally.
Okay. I mean, how do we know, though? How do we know?
Because he got a track record with the Falcons.
Yeah, but I'm saying Dan Quinn, new look Dan Quinn, after the Cowboys, I think he's going to be better.
I don't, bro. He's better suited as a defensive coordinator, in my opinion, but we'll see.
Who do we got next on our list of free agents?
Say is going to be upset at this one, but Christian Wilkins to the Raiders on a 4-year, $110 million deal. What's your guys' thoughts on that one? First off, Dolphins fan, I know you're a little upset. So what do you think about that signing?
I'm happy for him. He just got generational wealth. Well, he got paid, recognized for his stardom. I think him and Max Crosby are gonna be a crazy duo over there. And I wish nothing but the best as long as he doesn't beat Miami.
I mean, who else? They just added someone crazy. I forget who else did they just add?
Oakland?
Who?
Or, the Raiders?
Yeah.
Um,
To go side by side with Max. Jake, do you know?
I'm looking it up, bro.
All right.
Are you talking about Harrison Bryant?
It might be him.
He's a safety, though. I don't think they signed anyone else on the D line except for Christian Wilkins.
I thought they signed someone on the D line. That's my bad, though.
I think it was just Christian Wilkins.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. But I mean, that defense is getting scary. It was already scary last year. Then you look at that offense. They signed Gardner Minshew. Mustache Cash Dash. One of the best quarterbacks in the league. Right up there with Money Mitch. but I mean, I would say I think this is a good signing, especially how great he played with the Colts last year. He's definitely a great quarterback, great energy, especially when you're trying to revamp and rebuild. I think he'll fit the dynamic well, and I think that they're going to go far. Not far, but I think they'll make it competitive in the AFC West.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll be a competitive team solely because of Gardner. They have to get him weapons first and foremost.
They just signed. They did just sign. Who did they just sign? They just signed Jacoby Myers.
He's all right.
No, that was that was last year.
That was last year. Yeah, they've had him.
Yeah.
He was good for them. Garoppolo loved him. It remains to be seen what Gardner can do with him. They do have Devontae Adams, obviously. Now they don't have a running back since Josh Jacobs left. We'll see what they do there. Their offense is going to be mediocre, but that defense will always be legit. And now you pair Max Crosby with Christian Wilkins. They could make some noise in the AFC West. I just don't think it's enough yet to make a playoff run.
Right. You know who does make enough for a playoff run?
Who?
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, Packers, 4 years, $48 million.
Got what he deserved.
Yeah, he absolutely did. I'm surprised the Raiders never paid him. That was a mistake on their part.
For sure.
So sticking with the Raiders, what do you guys think they do at running back now? Because obviously they're in the same situation as Cowboys. There's no elite running backs on the board for a free agency. So do you wait for the draft, or what do you guys think?
For the Raiders?
Yeah.
I think you go in the draft and try to get one.
See, the problem with that for me, though, is that this running back draft class isn't that deep.
It's not that deep, but there are some gems in there. I mean, the kid from Michigan, he'll be in there, right? I do believe.
Hey, don't tell the Raiders that, okay? He's going to be a Cowboy.
Oh, you think so?
That's my hope, man.
I think he is definitely the best running back in the class by
Oh,
far.
100%. He'll be the first one taken easily.
I just wonder where he is going to be taken and who is going to get him, because whoever gets him is going to get a great running back. The Raiders or the Cowboys would probably prefer him more than any other running back, and I think he would be a better fit and they would have better success if they had him as a running back.
Yeah, I agree. I think Blake Corum's going to drop in the second round, unfortunately, just because of how deep this draft is in the first round talent.
Right.
But maybe it will lead to a better situation for him, like the Raiders or Cowboys. But yeah, I think the Raiders have to wait till the draft to get a running back just solely because there's not many out there right now. But there are still some that you could go out and sign and have as insurance in case you don't get one. But I feel like you got to wait for the draft, and that's your best bet.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
But Gabe Davis did sign a 3 years, $39 million deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars with a chance to get $50 million with incentives. Basically, now he is replacing Calvin Ridley since Calvin Ridley left. So what's your thoughts on that signing?
Great sign. Gabe Davis played for the Bills last year, right? Played for the Bills a couple of years. I mean, I think this is a good signing, especially since Ridley's gone. Obviously, you're gonna have your first option at ETN, right? With Trevor Lawrence. Gabe Davis, he was the third option. I think he could have been better utilized with the Bills, but I think he could be a second option. I think he's going to shock a lot of people this year, especially with the money he's making now. I do believe that he's going to make a difference on that team. Are they going to be a playoff or a contending team? I don't think so, but he will definitely make a difference, and hopefully Trevor utilizes him a lot better than Josh Allen did.
You don't think the Jags are going to make the playoffs?
They're going to make the playoffs. They're not contenders.
Oh, I thought you said it. I didn't know if you meant they weren't going to make the playoffs at all.
No, they're gonna win the AFC South, 100%. You think the Colts?
Aren't the Texans in that division?
Aren't they?
Yeah.
They are. Yeah, they are. Yeah, you're right. Wow, that's tough. That you have a lot of races going on. You got the Bills, you got the Jets. 2, you got Steelers, Browns, or Ravens. 3, you got possibly Chargers, Raiders, or Chiefs.
And then obviously NFC East is just Cowboys and Eagles, but it's mostly going to be Eagles.
But I'm saying just AFC. Then you go to the AFC South, and you got Texans and Jacksonville Jags going at each other. I mean, it's crazy what we got going on in the AFC right now. But yes, obviously, NFC. You still got your regular dynamic with the Eagles and the Cowboys. So.
Yeah, it's the AFC is probably the toughest division in the NFL right now. It's going to be very tough, and there's going to be a lot. What? Go ahead.
Forgot about the Dolphins. I forgot about the Dolphins in the AFC East. I can't believe it.
It's going to be a lot of contending teams that won't make the playoffs solely because of how deep the AFC is, and that's going to stink for them. But it's going to be great for fans.
Add a spot. Add it. Do it.
Yeah. I don't think they will though. But I feel like personally, Gabe Davis is a little overrated. I don't think he's that great.
I think he's overrated.
I think he's a wide receiver 3, not a wide receiver 2. And I don't think he's worth
3 with the Bills.
Yeah, but with the Titans, or not Jags, he'll be a wide receiver 2, and I don't think he's fit for that role personally. Because he's just a deep threat. He's not a great route. He's not a great route runner. All he does is streak routes, and I don't think that's going to fit with the Jags very well. And I think they overpaid him, and I don't think it's going to work out very well.
Wow, that is some truth right there from Jake. So we'll see what happens. I just pumped him up. I just gave him all the hype in the world, and it just gets flying back down onto earth. So we'll see what happens there. Moving on, though.
It's just my opinion. On to another person who got severely overpaid. Kirk Cousins. I don't know who his agent is. I don't know who his agent is, but he needs to give that man the bag because he's been getting overpaid at every stop. And at 35, I think, coming off a torn Achilles, he gets a 4-year, $180 million deal with the Falcons. I think he was a little overpaid. Was it the right move for the Falcons? That's 50-50. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I remember when he first got his big bag with the Redskins back in the day, right? When he got that bag with them, I was shocked. Yeah, he had great seasons with them, but I was shocked. So now you got to think that that's his agents, right? Then he goes ahead and has an average year, goes to the Vikings, plays good, gets paid the bag, right? Goes to the Falcons, and he's getting paid crazy amounts of money. Like you said, 35 years old, torn Achilles, 4-year deal. He's gonna be playing till he's 39. You think that's gonna be your contending quarterback at age 39 when you could have had Justin Fields or anybody in the draft? I thought that was crazy.
Yeah, and I saw the day that Mike Greenberg on ESPN, Get Up ESPN, he said he's adamant that Kirk Cousins make them Super Bowl contenders.
No.
No.
Yes,
Kirk
people
Cousins.
are saying this. I don't understand.
Kirk Cousins has one playoff win. Who else has won? Dak Prescott. You cannot say that he is going to lead them to the Super Bowl. They still have no defense. And their offense is insanely good, but they have a first-year head coach, one, and then who knows how healthy he actually is. A torn Achilles is very tough to come back from. You saw Kobe Bryant tear his Achilles in the NBA, never the same. Klay Thompson did the same, never the same. He might not ever be the same.
I think even if he is the same, like you said, everybody's new. It's all new. How can you be title contenders when you have to build the chemistry like any other team? It was a miracle that the Texans did what they did last year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, CJ Stroud is just a baller. Let's just put it out flat out. He's a baller.
But
he knows how to win.
Everyone else was a baller. All the receivers, everyone went down. Everyone stepped up to the plate no matter what. They were just balling last year. It was a miracle what they did.
People are acting like Kirk Cousins is a top 5 quarterback. He is not a top 5 quarterback. He is a middle of the pack quarterback, mediocre, and he's just not enough to get the job done for the Falcons. Obviously, he will make them better, and he will get them to the playoffs, I think. But he won't take them past maybe the second round is their ceiling, I think.
He's not. So I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's the most consistent quarterback. Is he the most explosive quarterback in the league? You need an explosive quarterback like a CJ Stroud, like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Tua Tagovailoa, like a possible Brock Purdy, because we saw spurts of greatness in the playoffs with him last year. You need a great explosive quarterback that can make plays when you need them the most. And I think Kirk Cousins, he'll make plays, but they will not be explosive. When he goes down in a game, he'll keep you right in the game, but I don't think he'll make an explosive play to put you back up.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, it's been shown when the Cowboys that one year when they beat them 40-0, the Cowboys came out, punched Kirk in the mouth, and he never got back up and punched back. He's not a quarterback he's not a quarterback that can do that, and it's going to haunt the Falcons because they're going to get punched multiple times.
But congratulations to him. I do think he's a great guy, great quarterback, great agent. Is he enough, though? In my opinion, I don't think he is enough to make that Atlanta Falcons. If he had a great squad with him, sure. But it's the Atlanta Falcons we're talking about here, guys. They weren't contenders last year. They weren't even in playoff contention last year. How can you think that Kirk Cousins makes him a contender? It's just, you need more than that.
Not. I mean, bro, there's an argument to be made that Justin Jefferson made Kirk Cousins what he was on the Vikings. Because before he went to the Vikings, and before he had Justin Jefferson, he did not put up those type of numbers. Pretty much, Kirk Cousins' system at Minnesota was Justin Jefferson's down there somewhere, and Justin Jefferson will make him the same catch. He doesn't have a receiver that can do that at Atlanta.
I 100% agree, and they're saying that he's going to use Pitts and all these other guys correctly.
I mean, I think he will use it. He will use them correctly, but it's not going to be enough to get them wins.
Right, 100%.
Like, obviously, Kyle Pitts will finally get the targets he deserves and finally be utilized the way he deserves to be. And same with Drake London. It will result in, I think their ceiling is 10 wins, personally.
Right.
Like, and that's one or two wins greater than last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's going to change anything dramatically. And yeah, as you said, he's too old and he's not going to lead them to a Super Bowl, which is the ultimate goal. But maybe we'll be proven wrong, but we'll see what happens. But for the Falcons, obviously for Justin Jefferson, what do you do if you're Justin Jefferson?
I'm going to Cincy. I am forcing my way. I do not care. I'm going.
See, the problem with that for me is that they can't pay T. Higgins. There's no way they can pay Justin Jefferson.
There's no way unless you get him for a 1-year deal. Why wouldn't he want to play with his old teammates again? Why not?
I think he does, but it's just that cap situation I think is hindering them.
It's hindering, but then again, next year's a whole different situation. I just want him for this year and this year only where we can win a Super Bowl.
I mean, yeah, it would be absolutely insane. And I think that would be a great fit for him. I hate to say this, but the Chiefs could be a great fit for him. I hope it doesn't happen because there's no way anyone will stop the Chiefs if that happens. But I mean, if I'm Justin Jefferson and I see they let go of Kirk Cousins for Sam Darnold,
I'm out.
The minute I see that, I'm calling the GM and saying, trade me, get me out of here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we see something crazy possibly on draft night, if we see him get traded during that night. But Justin Jefferson I will think he will no longer be a Viking.
Yeah, I agree. Because he wanted to wait to do the extension to see what happened with Kirk.
Right.
Maybe he'll play it out this year, see what happens. But
Yeah.
if they don't do well without Kirk, he's leaving easily in free agency.
Right. If not, he's out midway through the season and he's going to Cincy.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I just don't think that this is the right move for the Vikings or the Falcons. I think it's a lose-lose.
I agree.
But the biggest signing of all was Saquon Barkley going to the division rivals, Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, he grew up in Philly, but the fact that he went from New York to Philly, as you stated in the intro, absolutely unacceptable in my eyes. And I'm a Cowboys fan. Like, if I was a Giants fan, I would be heated at Saquon Barkley. You're going to the biggest rival in the NFC East.
Right.
Cowboys are a close second, but for everyone, the Eagles are first just solely because of the hatred for that team. And he decides to go there. I don't know. I'd be mad. 3 years, $37 million. What are your thoughts on it?
Good for him. He got the bag. Does he have the respect? He will not ever have the respect.
I do think it goes both ways though, because the Giants didn't give him the respect of offering him a contract. And I think he saw that as a kick in the stomach and was like, all right, I'll get you back for it.
I think either way, right? No matter what happened, he always wanted to be an Eagle. I don't care what he says. That was going to be a team he played for one time in his career or another. You go to the Giants moves, yeah, it's their fault. They should have paid him, right? But then again, you look at him and it's like, oh, it's just gut-wrenching because you are a Giant. You were a Giant. You're supposed to hate this team. You're supposed to hate the Cowboys too. The better fit would have been the Cowboys, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, but Jerry Jones, cheap.
But you lose your greatest offensive line weapon in Jason Kelce. You're not going to have a great offensive line in the beginning part of the season, and you expect Saquon to do the things he's supposed to do. You expect Jalen Hurts. Now all the pressures on this team to win even more now because you just added possibly one of the greatest running backs in the league, right? Who performed without an offensive line last year. And then now you have Jalen Hurts too, and you expect everybody to win? I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not going to be a great fit at first. Obviously, the chemistry got to get there. But I think the Eagles are going to win the NFC East division, as much as I hate to say it. But I also think Saquon Barkley is so injury prone. I would not be surprised if he got hurt week 6 or 7 of the season once again, because it's not the O-line that got him hurt. It's
himself.
Open field tackling and him rolling his ankle and stuff like that. And as you said, they lost the greatest center of all time, arguably the GOAT at center. And I just don't see that offensive line being as dominant as people think it will be. They're saying that obviously the Eagles have made it awesome moves, and they are obviously trying to get back to the Super Bowl, and they have potential to do that. It's just at first, don't be surprised if they struggle at first, because the chemistry is first and foremost.
Right.
But before we move on there's a breaking news from Adam Schefter that I would like to touch on.
Yeah.
The Bears just traded for wide receiver Keenan Allen for a 4th round pick. So what's your thought on that, Gio?
So they're not gonna draft Marvin Harrison.
No,
it's out of the window.
Yeah.
You look now at what they're gonna do. I guarantee you,
Caleb.
They have to get Caleb. They have to trade Justin. It would be unfair to them to either one of them, right? To either have one sit at the bench and then one start. they're both starting caliber quarterbacks in the league. At least, get something for Justin if you're gonna go that way. But man, if you're gonna get Caleb because you just traded for Keenan, I mean that's crazy.
I mean, it's not out of the picture that they could get Marvin Harrison Jr. though, because they did let go of Darnell Mooney. They don't have a wide receiver 3.
You're telling me right now that you got DJ, Keenan, and Marvin Harrison is a wide receiver 1 out of the gate.
Bro, but imagine you have Justin Fields at quarterback with that wide receiver core. I'd rather have that than trading Fields and drafting Caleb Williams.
Right. I agree.
So I think maybe that's what they're cooking, but if not, Keenan Allen to the Bears is depending on their quarterback situation. We got to see if they keep Fields. That trade is absolutely fantastic. If
You
they
said
have
a 4th
Caleb
rounder,
Williams,
right?
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah, that's a great trade if they keep Fields. But if they don't keep Fields and they have Caleb Williams back there, I'll be a little skeptical because, as I said, I'm not very high on Caleb Williams.
Right.
But yeah, that's I don't understand how all these top tier receivers are going for bottom tier round picks. Like it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, either do I.
But that's crazy. Kudos to the Bears for making a trade, and hopefully Keenan Allen can succeed there. But so Giants. What do you think losing Saquon means for them and Xavier McKinney, obviously, to the Packers?
Yeah, so that was our next guy too, right? Congratulations to McKinney. I think obviously
4 years, $68 million, with the Packers.
Their defense is getting that much better too. Congratulations to them. The Giants are done. When you're paying
Daniel Jones the money you are,
$47 million. I mean,
bro. And the problem is, they signed Drew Lock, and the reason Drew Lock signed there, the Seahawks wanted to keep him. The reason Lock signed there is they said that he can compete for a starting job. So you're telling me you're going to keep $40 million on the bench for a whole season? What's the point?
No, it's not going to happen.
Like, I mean,
you have to play him.
You have to. You gave him that They messed up. Up. Let's just be honest. They messed up paying Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley.
Right. And they should have paid Saquon, let Daniel walk, be bad this last year, draft a great quarterback this year, and then you would have been fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like they just shot themselves in the foot, and they're going nowhere because of it anytime soon. I think they're going to be like the Commanders the past few years, bottom of the barrel of the NFC East and the NFC as a whole.
100%.
And it really does stink because after that 9-7 season, I believe it was, when they got to the second round and lost to the Vikings, I really thought they were turning the tide, and then stuff just hit the fan.
Stuff did hit the fan, Jake. You are right.
I mean, I'm not mad at it because, as a Cowboys fan, I love it. We always smoke them. I can just count on that every year. So,
well, it's gonna happen this year.
Yeah, easily. I think Giants just got to throw this year down the drain and hope for a high pick and start rebuilding in the draft.
Right, I agree.
But speaking of Xavier McKinney, 4 years, $68 million with the Packers. That Packers team, as you said, signing Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney, they are looking like not Super Bowl contenders, but I feel like they could make a run similar to what the Lions did last year and shock people.
They're Super Bowl contenders. One, because they got the experience that the Lions did not get, right?
Yeah, but the reason I say not Super Bowl contenders is I don't think Justin Love played great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's enough as a quarterback to get you to a Super Bowl.
Why not? I mean, look at what Brock Purdy did.
But he's Purdy is consistent though. The problem with me with Jordan Love is he is so inconsistent.
He got better last year, in my opinion, over time. That was his first year under the helm after Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I just feel like they're lacking. One, offensive line does have breakdowns a few times. They need some more O-linemen. And two, they're still lacking a few defensive pieces to win a Super Bowl.
They are. They need that one punch in the defensive line, in my opinion, that you don't have. But I do believe that they can be contenders in the NFC. I think anyone in the top three, which includes the Packers, Lions, and 49ers, I think those top three teams can win the NFC. And I really think that either one of those teams can beat each other. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it's looking very good for the Packers to
Right.
make a deep run this year.
yeah, for sure.
But I think personally, instead of keeping AJ Dillon, they should have kept Aaron Jones. Unfortunately, he decided to go sign with the arch rival Minnesota Vikings. I'm not sure what's going on this offseason, but there's been 3 players who have signed with division rivals. I don't
Yeah.
know what that's about.
It's vengeance.
It's crazy. I think it is vengeance, specifically for Saquon, obviously. Patrick Queen, I was surprised he went to the Steelers.
He went for the bag. Let's be honest. He went for the bag.
Yeah. And then
Jones.
Aaron Jones was vengeance, 100%.
Vengeance,
He said,
100%.
"Oh, you release me? All right, I'll
Right.
go over here."
100%.
So I think that's a great move for the Vikings, though. Obviously,
Yeah.
they got to draft a quarterback at pick 11 now with Sam Darnold there. You cannot rely on Sam Darnold. Got to draft a quarterback.
Right.
I'm assuming Sam Darnold will start for a little bit, and then they'll give
Yeah.
the rookie the keys if things aren't going well. But either way, Aaron Jones is a great signing because he can do it all, and he's shown that
Right.
at Green Bay.
Right. I agree too.
But yeah, this one I love. Minshew Mania, getting 2 years, $25 million for the Raiders. So what do you think this means for the Raiders quarterback situation? You think they're going to start Minshew, or are they still going to draft a quarterback and try to build from there?
Yeah, I mean, if you're smart, I think Minshew is the best, if not the second best backup quarterback in the league. He'll get you a win any day of the week. But then again, he did play great for the Colts last year. I wouldn't mind seeing him as the starter this year and then possibly draft him next year. It's just so hard because you can draft a quarterback this year that can be your future, right? Like a JJ McCarthy, Bo Nix, Penix Jr. You have a lot of great talent. I want to see him play just because of what we saw last year. Their offensive weapons isn't that great either, right? So let's try to run the table, see what we got, hope for next year. But if you want to draft a quarterback, go right ahead. I don't think it would hurt drafting at the 11th spot.
They're 13 actually.
13. Either way, I don't think that would hurt them drafting at the 13th spot. But could you possibly get a weapon for them? Like who would you get as a weapon?
I think their best bet at pick 13 is to start Gardner Minshew because he
Right.
showed he can start and win games on the Colts, and I think he can do the
Right.
same with the Raiders, especially with a receiver like Devontae Adams. He'll actually get Devontae Adams the ball, unlike Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
And I think you start Gardner Minshew this year, as you said, and then draft one next year if things don't work out. But I think at pick 13, you should draft either a defensive player or a O lineman, in my opinion.
I would draft an O-lineman. That was my thought process. But at the same time, I mean, it is so tough because you have such great talent in the quarterback position this year that if you wait too long, if you wait next year, then the year after that, I really don't think you're going to have the same type of, talent that you have this year.
That is very true. This is by far the deepest quarterback class I have seen in a very long time, and they don't grow on trees.
Right.
So that's true. And I think it also depends on who's on the board because I don't think that many think Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and JJ McCarthy are lottery picks, but
Right.
maybe they'll surprise us and pick one of them.
I think Bo's lottery.
I think given his age, that's why people are making him a second round pick, and I think he will go second round because of his age.
But I think it would be a steal at the 13th pick for the Raiders to get Bo Nix, right? It would be a steal, in my opinion.
I agree. I think Bo Nix is one of the best quarterbacks in this draft, and he's just getting kicked on because of his age. But
you look
in
at
my
how
eyes,
old the quarterbacks are playing nowadays.
yeah, in my eyes, if I'm a GM, I would rather have a more experienced quarterback than a 20-year-old who doesn't know what he's doing when he comes in the NFL.
Right, 100%.
So I don't understand that narrative. Yeah, I mean, they'll play longer for you, but as you said, quarterbacks are playing until they're 40 years old now. Look at Tom
Right.
Brady. He played till he was 45.
Aaron
So,
Rodgers.
Like
Kirk Cousins
doesn't-
is going to play till he's at least 39.
Yeah, like it doesn't physically demand as much as it used to. So it's
Right.
not that big of a deal if you draft one that's 23.
100%.
But moving on to back to the Bengals trading Joe Mixon to
Yeah.
Houston, and
Oh, yeah.
as the Bengals signed Zach Moss to a 2-year, $8 million deal, Personally,
Yes.
I think this was the wrong move. I was surprised they moved on from Joe Mixon. But what's your thoughts on it?
I was shocked, but like you said, the cap, everything that's going on with the Cincinnati Bengals, it's just not working out. Obviously, Higgins wants out. You just trade Mixon. Something's going on there, and I think at the end result of it, you're going to end up with possibly Justin Jefferson. If not, Joe Burrow is going to have a tough season this year.
Yeah, I think it's shaping up to be a very tough season for Joe Burrow, similar to last year where he just couldn't get on track and they'll finish third, maybe even fourth in that AFC
Right.
North.
Right.
I'm surprised that the Bengals are making bad moves because they usually make money moves in the offseason. But
Yeah.
as I said, they're way above the cap, and it's tough for them to make any moves with that situation. Maybe that's a part of it, but they definitely got to figure out a way to get their roster restructured moving forward.
Right.
But what do you think about Zach Moss for them? You think he's going to be a good fit?
I think is he going to be a good fit? I think it's better than nothing, 100%.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is he better than Mixon? No, he's not better than Mixon. The potential is not there. I mean, he's going to get you, some good runs, but really, I think Moss he is definitely a downgrade.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. He's a great running back. He is a good running back. We're not trying to,
Right.
Yeah,
he's
down him,
good.
but
Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
but
he's a great
not
running
Mixon.
back, but he's not Joe Mixon. Mixon, I mean, he's had like what 3,000-4,000 yard seasons in a row, and you're just going to throw him to the Texans. I'd rather keep Mixon and roll with my chances with him. But
it's like DeAndre Swift and Derrick Henry. It's like we're not dogging Swift. It's just D. Henry's that much better.
Right, exactly. I would have loved to see Zach Moss on the Cowboys. Obviously, they didn't want to pay $4 million a year, but they would have done it. AJ Dillon, who's now not even an option, so he's sleepwalking, unfortunately. But I guess we're just gonna address it in the draft, or maybe sign one of the other running backs available. But there's not many, so I think you gotta wait till the draft now.
Right.
But as we said, Vikings signed Sam Darnold to a 1-year, $10 million deal. So do you think obviously they're going to draft a quarterback at pick 11 now?
Yeah, I would think so. If they don't, I think this is bad for them. I mean, what else are you going to pick right now? You have to draft a quarterback with the potential you have there, with the talent you have there. If you draft an offensive lineman, sure, go ahead. But really, he's not going to make or break your franchise like a quarterback could.
Yeah, I agree. I think they have to go quarterback. Obviously, they signed Sam Darnold in case their rookie doesn't pan out or to have a mentor for the rookie, I think. But it's just Sam Darnold isn't a starter in today's NFL. Maybe he'll start for a few games, as I said, but I don't see it lasting long.
I agree.
But there was some breaking news again from Adam Schefter, and this time it's even crazier.
What you got, Shefty? What? So right now, apparently we got some breaking news. Not sure what it is right now. Jake's going to get back to us real quick. In the meantime, though, the biggest deal in the offseason has to be Russell Wilson. $1.2 million sign. Saved us a lot on the cap. I mean, my goodness, when you got the Broncos paying him $37 million with that great of a quarterback, you don't even have to pay him that much. You're right then and there, stealing the offseason. Now, was there tampering involved? Was there tampering involved with Kirk Cousins? I'm not sure. All I know is that if anything, all these teams have been tampering because the offseason started, I do believe, yesterday was the first day, and all these deals happened before then. So what's going on? Where's the consistency in this? Where's the tampering going on?
Sorry about that. What were you saying, Gio?
I was just going off saying the biggest deal was Russell Wilson for $1.2 million for the Steelers.
Oh yeah, bro. The fact they're paying $1.2 million and the Broncos are paying $38 million, that just shows how bad of a trade it was for the Broncos.
Right. And then I went into saying, okay, so was there tampering with Russell Wilson? Was there tampering with Kirk Cousins?
I think it wasn't with Russ. I think Saquon and Kirk are a big possibility.
But you look at it, if there's tampering going on there, then all the trades and all the signings that happened before day one are technically tampering, are they not?
But none happened before day one is the problem. Like the
But they
moment
really
free
did.
agents,
We saw before yesterday all these moves happening.
I mean, yeah, but that's because technically the league year opened on Monday at 4 p.m. So that's why all those signings happened.
Okay. But the offseason didn't technically start till Wednesday.
Wednesday at 4 p.m. Correct. But
Right.
but you could start signing people at Monday at 4.
See, that's crazy to me, is because if you want to talk about all this tampering, right? Then
But the tampering is they talked to Kirk and Saquon before 4.
you're telling me right now that Russell Wilson, Chad Ochocinco said a birdie told him that Russell Wilson's going to the Steelers. And this was, I don't know how long ago.
I just think people just knew that was the best fit for Russ.
But I mean, for Chad Ochocinco, he's within the NFL, rankings. He knows people. So I guarantee you stuff's happening behind the scenes with a lot of teams, not just the Steelers, not just with the Falcons, and not just with the Eagles.
I guarantee you, every team has tampered once in their careers.
At least in their franchise. I mean, at least this year, there's a lot of tampering going on. If you just want to look at the focal point and look at the biggest signings, like a Russ, like a Kirk Cousins, and like a Saquon, sure, go ahead. But I guarantee you, other teams have been doing the exact same thing they have.
Oh yeah, easily. I don't really understand why tampering is that big of an issue. I mean, either way, they're going to sign with that team. It doesn't matter when they talk to them.
Right.
But as I was saying before, my technical difficulties, breaking news from Adam Schefter once again. This time, the Chiefs got even better. They just signed Marquise Hollywood Brown to a 1-year deal, giving Patrick Mahomes a speedster type like Tyreek Hill once again. What's your thoughts on that?
Wow, that's insane. Okay, he's a great young talent in my opinion. Arizona didn't use him right.
Well, I also feel like he has to stay healthy first and foremost.
He has to stay healthy, but that is a talent right there. Marquise played crazy. When he was with the Ravens, when he emerged with the Ravens, that was insane. Then you go to Arizona, you expect him to do great things. Obviously, Murray went down, but man, with Patrick Mahomes, this kid can be something special. You give him his number one receiver, in my opinion, with Travis Kelce. You give it a little bit more help. They just got better, like you said.
Oh yeah. This is absolutely insane. I think it's going to be a replicate of the Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce duo, where Marquise Brown uses his speed to get open, and if he's the one open, Mahomes goes there. If not, Travis Kelce's wide open, because now defenses cannot double Travis Kelce, knowing that Marquise Brown can go over the top.
That's right, and you just gave both of those guys help, which they so much deservingly needed. But man, you add that to a championship team, I cannot imagine what Patrick's feeling right now.
Yeah, dude, I'd be absolutely ecstatic if I was Patrick. And the fact that Kelce and Mahomes still got it done without a speedster type, and with Kelce getting all the attention, is insane. Obviously, players like Sky Moore and Rashee Rice stepped up, and they're still going to be there. Rashee Rice is going to be very, very good for the Chiefs for years to come. Yeah, Hardman too. This team, honestly, they might be the first to ever three-peat. It's going to be very hard with how stacked the AFC is now, but you can never count Mahomes out, as you've said.
You can't bet against them, man. You can't bet against them.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. I don't want it to happen because I would like to see another team win, but I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either, especially after that news. I was going to take them next year either way because it is Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at it now, it's like, come on, man. They just got better. And they did it with, like you said, they did it without a receiver like Marquise Brown. I mean, you add him to it, and it's just not fair. It really isn't.
It's really not, because you just give him the best quarterback in the NFL, too. Right. You can gunsling it.
And you extend Chris Jones. Congratulations to that. You franchise tag Snead. I mean, they're practically the same team.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I think they all have a hunger under them to go out and be the first to ever three-peat.
That's it.
We'll see what happens. But moving forward with the other free agents, Obviously, we stated Derrick Henry signing a 2-year, $16 million deal with the Ravens.
Yep.
This is absolutely a cheat code to me because the Ravens ran read option before, but now you have Derrick Henry back there.
Yeah.
What do you do as a linebacker? Do you go to Lamar or do you go to Derrick
Right.
Henry? Either way, you're losing.
Right, and like you said, you got the number one rushing quarterback in Lamar Jackson. You got Derrick Henry, King Henry, the best running back in the league. It is so hard to pick, and either way, you're losing, like you said. We got to see how it plays out, though. Congratulations to the Ravens for that signing.
Yeah, I think, honestly, the Ravens, I think they're the favorites to win the AFC North right now solely because of that offense and that defense. Obviously, they lost Patrick Queen, but they still have a very good defense.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a very good team. It's just a matter of can Lamar win in the playoffs, and that remains to be seen.
Right.
But this team is going to be very, very hard to beat come
100%.
the regular season. But Danielle Hunter going to the Texans on a 2-year, $49 million deal, beefing up that D-line, which was, I think, the Texans' biggest weakness last year. So what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, you saw exactly what he did with the Vikings, right? When he was there. When you add that type of caliber player where he deserves his money, I mean, it's going to be crazy what we see from him next year, what we see from that defense that already played well last year. You got that leader now on the defensive line. It's going to be insane. And then you can possibly get a Chase Young, too, possibly. I mean, Chase Young has not signed yet. Who knows if you get Chase Young, too? That's going to be even killer.
Yeah, I mean, Chase Young is visiting with a lot of teams, and it's not said that it's not set that he's going to be back with the 49ers, which is another reason why releasing Eric Armstead might be the wrong move for them. But we'll see what happens with Chase Young. I mean, I think he's talking to the Titans. He's talking to a lot of teams. Same thing with Javion Clowney. There's still pass rushers out there that could go to the Texans and make them even better.
Exactly.
And I think this Texans team, as you said earlier, going to make some noise and surprise some people.
100%.
Especially with Tank Dell back healthy.
Yeah, for sure.
Last but not least, this one was, to me, in my opinion, the biggest surprise because there was no rumors about it at all. I thought for sure Calvin Ridley was going back to the Jaguars. Instead, he went to the Tennessee Titans on a 4-year, $92 million deal. What's your thoughts on that deal?
He just wanted the bag, right? I don't think, obviously, the Patriots were in that conversation as well. I think the Patriots really wanted him. They didn't get him because they didn't throw him the bag like the Titans did. He really just wanted the bag. There is no room for winning on the Titans right now. Will Levis is a great quarterback, but he's not going to bring you to the Super Bowl. I think if you go to the Patriots, you got legacy of winning there. I think you got a great first year coach. I think you're gonna have some great noise with the Patriots this year. They're gonna shock some people. But the main beneficiary here is the money and the bag, and that's exactly what Calvin Ridley wanted. He wanted to be the number one guy, and I think that's what they got with the Titans.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Titans I think the Titans will be better than the Patriots. Also, obviously, he doesn't care about winning in the playoffs, but as you said, it's about the money. I think the Titans will be better, but neither the Patriots or Titans will be playoff teams, and he didn't care about that. He wanted the money, and that's the main reason why he ended up going to the Titans, which was absolutely insane to me because I just did not expect that to happen.
Yeah. What you got? Alrighty, so now we got ourselves some more technical difficulty. I do believe that covers everything in the NFL right now. Last night was a terrible loss for the Syracuse Orange. Unfortunate, they lost to NC State. Played poorly. They had 18 turnovers. NC State had 30 points off of their turnovers compared to their 7. They just played atrocious. It goes to coaching. It goes to playing. Yes, the referees missed some blatant calls, especially with Judah getting hit in the face. So when that happens, obviously, I think the whole team's going to be distraught. You move forward to next season, though. I think Syracuse has a great great team coming forward. But right now, it's got to be the national champions have to be UConn, right? You have to go back to back for them. Another option, right, for me is Houston. What they did today and just dominate TCU the way they did, I think just shows you how great they are. So you got Houston, you got UConn. I really think that those are the top two teams. Yes, you obviously have Purdue, but with the history of Purdue, can I really trust them? I don't really think you can. I know they're on a vengeance tour, but right now, all you got for me is UConn and Houston. Look at what North Carolina did today. They just obliterated their opponent. I mean, they were just playing with them with the third stringers for the last part of the second half. Obviously, the ACC teams go far in the tournament. North Carolina is going to be a Final Four team, UConn, and I also believe that Houston's going to be a Final Four team. They're all supposed to be number one seeds at this point, but we'll see what moves forward, and it's going to be crazy because I don't think we've had 3 number one seeds go to the Final Four in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, last year I feel like was the best chance for that to happen. I thought it was going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if this year it happened. Because I think, as you said, UConn, Houston,
Right.
Tennessee, and
North Carolina.
Purdue.
Well, don't
North
forget
Carolina.
North Carolina. So I don't know if you heard me, but Purdue, you can't trust them. With their
Yeah,
history, you
no,
can't
I don't
trust
trust
them.
them, but I don't trust them. But I think the committee's going to give them a 1 seed.
They're going to give them a 1 seed. So you think Tennessee? But Tennessee just lost.
Yeah, but I just think they got better wins than they have a better track record than North Carolina, so that's why
Yeah.
they'll get the 1 seed.
I think the way that North Carolina, it has to be with recency too. North Carolina has been on a tear, as you saw today. Who I forget who they play. They played Florida State, and they just tore them up. I mean, it's
Yeah, I
crazy.
mean, I think North Carolina does have a potential to make a Final Four run like they did last year. It's just they are so inconsistent, though.
But they have the best players. I think Baycott, their other foreman, I forget his name. He's good. And then you got Davis too, who's such an experienced player. He was ACC Player of the Year this year. I think he's developed and grown into the player he is today, and I have belief in Davis running the squad.
The best team to me personally, and the best coach team is
What?
UConn, and I
Yeah,
think they're going to go
100%.
back-to-back.
Yeah, I already said that they're going to be national champions defending back to back. The thing is, the Final Four, though, I think UNC can. I think definitely UConn. Houston's got to make it this year. Obviously, the way they've been playing defensively, offensively, they're just killer. And then I'm not sure who that fourth team is. Is it going to be another ACC team? I have no idea.
The 2 locks for me in the Final Four is UConn and Houston. The other 2
Right.
are up in the air.
Right. Are we
But
going to have obviously Colgate's not going to win, but congratulations to Colgate for getting into the tourney.
yeah,
But are we going to have some upset like a Loyola Chicago or a other squad like that?
I think this year is going to be crazier than last year, upset-wise.
I agree. I think a lot of smaller teams. I mean, Colorado, they can make some noise. I think they're going to get in. You look at USC lost.
Yeah, they did. Yep.
They lost their final.
They lost. Are you talking about the women's or the men's?
Men's.
USC?
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost today against Arizona.
They did?
Yeah.
They just beat Arizona.
No, they got torched by Arizona today.
No, but they just beat them.
USC?
USC, Bronny. A week
Nah,
ago.
they lost. They lost today.
But they beat them a week ago by 7.
No, they got smoked today.
That's disappointing. I really wanted to see that team was special.
That team just.
But who knows if it's
That team
gonna
just
be
didn't
like
gel. Though the team just didn't gel the way they were supposed to this year. I'm surprised they didn't win as many games as I expected them to.
Yeah. And again, the conference that they play in is crazy.
That is true. Let's just. I think Bronny James needs to return to school. What do you think?
I think it's in his hands. He played well. The minutes he played, I thought he was more efficient than he made an impact on the game. Next year he's going to roll, and I think he's going to be the star of the team. Then obviously he's going to be a lottery pick next year.
Yeah, I think he has to return personally. Obviously, I know his dad might have a say in it and might try to push him to go in the league, but I think he has to stay because if he does, obviously, next year's draft class is very deep. But I think he has the talent to be a lottery pick if he does stay.
100%. I mean,
What's up?
the talent that Judah has is phenomenal. Now it's just
Judah just tries to do too much, in my opinion. That's why he's not going to succeed in the NBA.
we call it Judah. Unnecessary pass, or he makes the unnecessary try to make a unnecessary shot. It is just pure involved. I like how he gets Malik involved early on in the game. Please keep doing that throughout the entirety of the game. Once you do that, I mean, when Judah gets 8 to 10 assists, which he can do, we've seen him do it. He's a great facilitator. And you don't have to be the scorer because we have plenty of shooters and scorers on the team. Just do your thing. But other than that, please make some field goals late in the game.
Yeah, I agree. That was a very unfortunate loss for Cuse last night, pretty much ending their season. I heard you talking about it a little bit, so I'll give my thoughts. I think the refs, they were bad, but that's not the reason we lost. The reason we lost was because we got out-hustled, outperformed, and just out-rebounded, and we didn't come to play.
Don't forget about
did.
18 turnovers.
Yeah, 18. Yeah, exactly. 18. We just no heart or hustle. The team pretty much gave up once they got down, and it was just a recipe for disaster from then out. And very unfortunate we won't get to see Judah Mintz in the NCAA tournament ever because I think he does declare, and I think he should declare. I think Syracuse will be better off without him personally. As you said, he just tries to do too much and doesn't get his teammates involved enough. So hopefully next year, on paper, they look very good. So hopefully next year they can end that tournament drought.
Right.
But anything else you want to touch on?
No, I think we pretty much nailed all everything. We got Syracuse end of the season and all the NFL stuff.
All right, bro. You got a segment?
I do have a segment. So, I mean, you look at what's coming up in the sneakers. I believe it is April 13th. We're going to be seeing the Venice Beach Kobe 8 Potros. I can't believe it. We're going to see, what a great coloration of the shoe. Love the shoe. Hopefully you guys can get it. Remember, April 13th. They're going to be coming out, and hopefully you guys can get them as Kobe fans. And I hope that, our friend Jake gets a pair too.
Yes, sir. Definitely looking forward to those drops. That picture you sent me looks very fire. So definitely going to try to get me a pair. Only $200. Those are a steal for 200. So definitely going to try. But in the video game world, there is a new game coming out next Tuesday, I believe, March 19th. MLB The Show 24 is dropping. So if you're a fan of baseball or a fan of sports in general, because I'm not a big fan of baseball, but that game is very fun. I highly suggest it. So if you have Game Pass, it's free as well. So definitely give that game a chance. And thank you all for watching. See you on the next one.
Hey, guys. Any comment on where Nick said, please share below. On any things we said tonight, go right ahead and any of your favorite teams, any of your favorite free agency players, that like the video, please go ahead and leave that thumbs up. And then